Alright, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into another video. Today's video, it is about another AOC meeting. I believe it's the 4th or 5th. I don't really know. Doesn't really matter. If you haven't been keeping up with the previous AOC meetings, I will be doing a little playlist with the previous AOC meetings in there, so you guys can take a look into. Now this time I'm not really going to be working on a document because I've been extremely busy and I probably don't have enough time for it, but I do know that a bunch of other people will be doing other AOC documents, so check out for that. As always, don't forget to follow all the other AOC elements on Twitter and so on, members in this case, so that you guys can see the documents, videos, and even notes from these people as well. So let's get into it, and initially I'm going to be talking about what Fishnet said. Obviously, as you might have understood by now, this is a voiceover, so what you're seeing in the back, if you see the cat, that is not live. My voice is live. The gameplay is just playing to fill out the background, but I will be putting names and I will also be dividing it on the video, so you'll have an easier time tracking things. So let's get into Fishnet's topics. First of all, he spoke about communication with the players, that they would like to see more responses for the PDS feedback and also bugs addressed before patch notes, which, you know, it kind of happened a little bit unfortunately with this last patch. And, well, here's what they had to say. Communication with players. We make a lot of changes based on player feedback. Pointing at one thing as an ego problem feels like communicating in bad faith. Now, the reason why they're saying this is, and I could go back into the meeting notes and so on, although we are missing some files here that are still being worked on, would be, you know, the people so often think that Hi-Rez just doesn't want to talk because, you know, it's that ego problem. But in reality, it's not exactly like that. It's just like they have to speak sometimes, and sometimes they better not speak, because sometimes people just like to take things out of the context, and it's not necessarily too good for that. Then they also said something, but this is in red, so I'm not going to be mentioning that, but they said after, we gain nothing from adversarial communications with players. The most common reasons for do not discuss or uncertain ship dates. This is regarding the feedback that we have with the AOC. So for example, when there's a red part like I just skipped, they don't want us to tell you that because maybe it's not 100% confirmed whether or not this is going to happen. Maybe they don't want somebody, you know, like other brands or other games to know of this just yet. Maybe they are working on it and it ends up having an error and then it doesn't work out like they wanted to. So they don't want the community to be hyped out about something that after this time, they actually didn't manage to do it, unfortunately. So yeah, as you can understand, sometimes it just has to be like that, okay? Like sometimes they have to keep some things a secret. And obviously in the future, those things will end up showing up one way or the other. So there you go. All right. Ranked crossplay. Fishnet mentioned ranked crossplay. He basically collected some data to see what people thought. And just a brief mention if they would be willing to do ranked crossplay or if they are planning on it. And I know that some people don't agree with this, but just for the sake of it, this is more of a thing of like, would they consider it or not, you know, or are they already planning it or not, so we are prepared for it. And the answer they had was this: ranked crossplay, 50% results are particularly tricky. I would love to have seen at least 70-30 in favor. That would have set up much better for a positive reception for a large change. We think the game would be better for this, but if half the players do not want this change, it makes it a very hard sell, especially for a non-trivial amount of work. So it's pretty much there, you know, the idea is there, but they know that the community would very much probably be upset with it. So it also makes sense that they don't want to do it just yet, unless everybody's on board. So at least we don't have to worry about that for now. When it comes to balance, obviously, Fishnet gave his balanced ideas. Those will be considered by Hi-Rez, and if they see anything that is good, they will be taking a look into it. But as you guys already know, I don't usually cover those here because in my point, like, I just want to talk about more of the, new features or quality of life changes and so on. When it comes to balance, it will be better when the AOC document is already going around and you guys just go and read it for yourselves, okay? They said that they would be looking into it, so that's all you need to know. All right, let's go into Infernal Drogos. She had 3 different topics. One of them would be enable, disable screen shake. As you guys know, this happens a lot in the game when you get stunned, when you get knocked back, and so on. Like, to have an option to at least disable this. She also mentioned Bounty Store and Deal of the Day, where uncommon skins and common skins should not be in the Bounty Store, and better Deals of the Day options. I agree with this as well in a way because I don't think there's any logical behind having sprays and Deals of the Day. It's just like, I would never buy anything that just has 1 or 2 sprays, so they definitely need to look into it. And also they need to look into the replay system rework. This is her 3rd topic. She says that it's very buggy and very specific parameters. Okay, so make it a bit easier, almost like having a theater mode. It would be a good idea. All right, so Evil Mojo's response, screen shakes. They cannot promise it. It would depend whether or not where all the screen shakes come from. Okay, one of the reasons they use screen shakes, it's to make things feel a little bit more kinetic, impactful. You actually have visual feedback. So when you have that shake, it's because something is happening. And if you didn't have that shake, it would be harder for you to take a look into it. They also mentioned that there was also concern leading it, if you have it off, would it have an advantage? Would this mean that every single person would turn it off to have that advantage factor? So that might not be a good thing. Very much likely, knowing how this works, that is not going to happen. As for the Bounty Store and the Deal of the Day, it does feel lackluster, not likely to cut out the significant amount of content, which is basically the recolors and so on. And when they launched the Bounty Store version 2, the prices went up by a factor of 50, but the earned rates went up by a factor of around 80. So what they're saying is they're making the prices work, because Infernal mentioned also that it's a bit harder. The prices and the numbers are just going skyrocketing, and it's a bit hard to even buy a skin in there. But based on the way that you can make bounty coins and how many you can make, the idea is not really for you to buy every single thing in the Bounty Store. It's more of a, you got enough, you grinded enough, it's a free thing for grinding, and now you can buy a favorite skin or 2. And I agree with that. Like, I don't think that it should be everything accessible. You shouldn't have the possibility to buy every single thing. As you notice also, they kind of slowed down on making new skins for the Bounty Store, so it gives us a bit of time to catch up, which is good. All right. As for the replay system, there might also be storage constraints for the window of replay. As for bugs, we can't really act on really buggy, but if you or other folks put together a list of specific bugs and issues for the team to investigate, we'll look into them. Match has IDs and videos help as always. In regards to replays being the only way to identify cheaters, because, well, this was a mention that Infernal was saying that, it helps. It's one of the only ways to know for sure if somebody is cheating. They answered this. Buckle up. Haven't discussed this with the programming. Part of this is a huge misconception. Let's envision that network games are essentially running 3 versions of the game simultaneously. One on the killer's PC, one on the server, and one on the victim's PC. Each version is responsible for a different set of calculations, and ultimately, the server puts all the results together. Killcams used and replays or use the server's version of the game. This is one of the biggest issues with Top-Play Killcam. The server isn't processing all of the information on the client, so when it tries to recreate what happens, the recreation can make it look like the killer was cheating, when in fact it had nothing to do with it. And this means that there would be false indicators of cheating, where on the killer's PC, they were aiming dead on when they shot, but the server doesn't have all the information to run it properly. All right, I'm actually going to give feedback on this one, and I'm going to say yes and no. agree in a way that there's some things that the replay will make it look like it's almost like, oh my god, he just did this snap and it looks like he's cheating, like he's looking in the direction, he's doing andro dashes and then shooting without even looking, and it does look okay that it is cheating. But I can guarantee you 100% that when a cheater is cheating, it is very easy to notice. For the past 2 years, I've been replaying every single match, asking people to spectate when I have a little bit of a suspicion that this person might be hacking, and most of them are always hacking, which is pretty easy to tell when they start doing very good, right? But even then, when you start taking too much damage in a short period of time that you usually don't take, it's either A, this guy is really doing really good, or B, he has to be hacking. So in a casual match, I usually ask my viewers to spectate the match so I can then replay it later. In a competitive match, I just replay it. And if I have no chance of it, I just check their names of the people, go into their Paladins Guru, I study a bit, go into a ranked match that they did recently, try to replay it, and then I check. And I can tell you for sure that you will notice whether or not this person is hacking. So even though this is not me calling the devs a bunch of liars, obviously, but even though it might seem like some things are actually just the server giving the wrong information, I can guarantee you for sure that when these people are hacking, you can see it. There's no doubt about it, okay? There's no way that certain things can be done. The only situation that I have had recently where I thought it was a hack and it wasn't, it was when somebody was moving while being stunned. But the thing is, this person was moving while being stunned after a Vora ultimate. If you haven't noticed by now, the Vora ultimate has a bug. It will literally aimbot you to Vora. You don't have to move for at least 1 to 2 seconds. As soon as the ultimate is happening, your character is forced to look to Vora. So while you're stunned, it will actually move where Vora is going to. So this is the only situation. Other than that, I can tell you for sure that I will always tell apart a hacker from a non-hacker. So there you go. Okay, Big Mac asked for a cheaters. Can the cheat detection system be improved? Gold banners, something to invest gold into, take advantage of splash arts and card arts. So this is also something that was already been mentioned before, but with a bit extra information. Customs, have all the champions unlocked in customs. Okay, so Evil Munch's response to the cheaters: we are constantly making efforts to improve our anti-cheat techniques. We have dedicated non-trivial resources to that effort, and our metrics do not indicate a significant increase in cheating. So they believe that the numbers on cheaters are not increasing. I wouldn't know because I don't have the numbers, but I would say that based on some things that I've been seeing, I wouldn't believe this 100% because there's been a lot of people sharing free hacks online, all right, on Reddits, on Discords, and it's insane, all right? And anyone who can report these people do it. They can ban these people in the machine. They can report them to Easy Anti-Cheat and just ban them entirely in Easy Anti-Cheat by IP address, MAC address, and so on. So if you have any suspicious, spectate it, get a video, send a support ticket, okay? There's even now new options in-game for you to report it. If you go and report people, you'll notice there's 2 new options, okay? They also said, this patch, we added the ability to report cheating and hacking after the match, which we hope will help us better take action against players who are observed to be cheating. Again, without kill cams or top plays, I don't know how people, without spectating the match, they will know for sure that they will be cheating, but okay. I guess you can always just come back to the history and just... As for the gold banners, they said, unsure whether we'd move forward with specific suggestion, but we always appreciate creative ideas like this for new types of content. Now, I don't think I've said this to Big Mac yet. I don't agree with this for one simple reason. The more content that we put into the game that has to load by player, by friends, the more lag it creates on your account. And this hasn't been fully confirmed by the developers, but I can guarantee you that it's true. In fact, just go into the tabs of the frames and so on, and once you press the spray tab, you'll see that just because it has to load all of those animated sprays and so on, it lags. The game lags, all right? It literally stops there for a couple seconds for some people. And some people even have lag in the game by having too many friends because it has to load a lot of information from these people. So the same thing would happen here. Now we would have to load in pictures of your teammates because of their banners. You know, when you go into the friends list, you would have a banner of a champion or something that you would buy with gold to have there. Even though it would be a good idea to spend gold, I still think this would create more issues than it would solve, so I would rather not have it. But obviously the developer said they would look into this. In the future they would give us an answer about it. Okay, now if champions are free in customs and locked in queues, that could both A, reduce the value of purchasing champions, and B, more importantly, pull people out of ranked and casual queues, hurting matchmaking. But it's an option that we can potentially discuss. Off the skin boosters in customs seem more feasible, potentially. I really don't agree with this. In fact, the only thing that I would agree about this is them creating champion boosters, as in unlocking every champion boosters, so that people could either buy them or get them from event passes. And in case, I know that it would rise the number of the Smurfs, but you would be surprised the number of people who go into competitive and don't have half of the champions. Okay, so this would actually help them. Just saying. But okay, whatever. Mitch mentioned third-party applications to improve performance and how some of them actually create issues into the FPS. They also mentioned the AOC chest. AOC curated chest similar to Olympian's chest from Smite. I might have been distracted when he mentioned this. I didn't actually notice about it. And also away status on the friends list. As for the friends list, you know, this is already something that it's already happening right now. You can even see how many times people are in the loading in the menu and so on. So there you go. As for the third-party applications in Fidelity FX, several departments would need to be involved to investigate this. What I can do, it is added to the backlog for the consideration. Frame cap is fewer teams, but similar. If anyone knows exactly what Fidelity FX and frame cap is, I'm sure that this will make some sense for you. If for the others, I guess that this is something related regarding like applications that would improve the gameplay and even the visuals and so on, that they would have to look into it. So it's not really crazy that you need to go into this. All right, as for the AOC curated chests, well, they didn't give us necessarily the proper answer. It's an answer in yellow, but you know, they need to let's just skip this one and let's see if in the future they can give us an answer that I would be much happier to disclose with you guys. As for the away status on friends list, our programming team has been working on an in-match status to make it this more precise. We can add away status specifically to the backlog to investigate. Then we have King Nick. King Nick mentioned three different ideas. One would be a ping feature. The second would be option to disable post-lobby chat. This is something I've already mentioned before, but I was not on the OC, so I'm actually happy that some other people think the same way as me. And also the third one, free up old inactive usernames. So for the pings, they said that they would be considering it, and in fact, they already even thought of it, but right now they are still investigating it. As disabling the chat, well, they kind of gave us an answer of like, they need to look into it. Like they want to get some how do I explain? They also mentioned that not just the option to disable post-lobby chat, but also some people who get bans or reports, a lot of reports end up having a suspension and do not use the chat, right? And so they said that they have to investigate it. In general, our priority is on punishing bad actors faster rather than lighter punishments on the way. But investigating mutes as a punishment is on our backlog for considerations. So at least maybe it will happen. As for the freeing up the old usernames, well, they said no, because people would abuse this. It's that simple. Let's not make it too complicated. Jamera's, the topics that he had was Paladin announcers, featuring content creators, store changes in creator code inside of the game that would make a lot more easier for new players to both understand the store, and also the creator code would be much easier than Nexus stores and so on, obviously. And then he also mentioned role preferences, so you would have something that would tell the players for preference roles that you would want in the future in the game, so people already know you want to support or tank. This has already been mentioned a ton of times. I'm actually surprised they even gave an answer to it. Optimization in FPS and performance. Unfortunately for the Jmeira's suggestions, every single one of them are red, except for the role preferences. We can add this to our backlog to investigate. It's about finding time and bandwidth to do it and prioritizing versus other features. So I guess they have a lot planned. As for the rest, I'm sorry, but I can't really tell you what they said. My suggestions. First of all, I actually spoke about the custom options and how I was suggesting some extra options for customs because I already knew that the custom options were coming. I wanted to give them some extra ideas for them to put in there to make it a bit, more fun, to have more creativity with them. Then I also spoke of some Vora balance changes. Crazy, I know. I usually don't talk about balance changes or even want to care about it, and somehow I ended up mentioning it, but with a good reason. I've seen some other AOC members do suggestions about Vora, and some of them are not necessarily people who play Vora all the time. As a person who plays Vora a lot, I would know some of the things that might be good or bad for Vora. Do not misunderstand this for asking only buffs for her. In fact, I asked for a change for the Silence talent. I asked for a change to the card that increases ult charge by hitting Obliteration, and I also asked for a nerf in her range of her main fire. So if anything, this is nothing bad. It's all basically to make her, give her something new and nerf her on her main distance fire so that people don't cry as much about her. She needs to be a bit more close to fight, just like what they did with Androxus, and eventually they might have to amp up her damage a bit to compensate for the nerfs that she's been getting. Then I also mentioned the notifications tab. If you guys remembered, a notifications tab, this was something that was actually considered for, but from one moment to the other they just decided to scratch it, which would be on the little tab that you have in the game that you get the notifications of something you unlocked and so on, to also have like patch notes and so on there, news and so on. Unfortunately, for the options of customs and also the notifications tab, the answers are all yellow, but they will be looking into both of them. So let's just wait, I guess. And then finally, Alive, we're already at 22 minutes into the video. Hopefully you're enjoying the gameplay. Alive mentioned 3 different things: PDS balance, champions balance, and interactive emotes. Okay, so as for the balance, obviously on the PDS balance, this is regarding everything that happened into PDS. This meeting was already when PDS was about to open, so he gave some suggestions of balance changes. Also some suggestions of champions balance changes. In fact, there's actually even a document as to some of the changes that he was suggesting. He was talking about Furia changes, Sky changes, Sati, Ray, so there wasn't a crazy amount of content that he was talking there, but still, to make the video shorter, I will not be explaining every single thing. Again, watch out for the documents. And, well, for the interactive emotes, unsure what is involved in this, we can add it to the backlog to investigate in the future. I'm gonna say it, this is the exact same thing as I said before with the banners. It's just another thing that you're gonna make more problems in the game. I do feel like it's a crazy good idea, but based on how sensitive the game is every time they add something new, I'm actually scared if this actually comes into the game, will it break anything? So, oh well. As for the balance, obviously they'll take a look into it and maybe get some of the suggestions. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the video. If you have any questions, any further explanations that you might need, you can always ask away in the comment section. I might be able to answer as much as possible, as soon as the video is up and even after that. If I'm streaming, which I'm not sure I will be streaming or not during the upload of this video, feel free to go there and ask me away as well as any questions as you like. Please be respectful for the AOC members. Do not just go and attack them over something they said that you might not like. Okay, we're all just here trying to help the community, help the game, help the devs, and so on. We're trying to do all of the best we can and we're all doing it for free. Obviously, we're all here to try to help as much as possible. We're not here to be your punching bags, okay? So if somebody does a suggestion, like for example, let's delete Leon, don't act up like a prick and try to go and threat people because of it, okay? That's completely stupid. And if you do that, honestly, I'm the type of person to just completely ignore you from now on and not even listen to your feedback. That's how that would work. If that anything like that I would ever see it happen, okay? So with that said, thank you so much for watching. If you want to join me on my streams, I'll be streaming obviously on the Paladins game channel. If not, I will be on my main channel. There's a link tree in the description of the video with the links to my Twitch channel, my TikTok, my Instagram, my Twitter, my everything is there, okay? So feel free to go there and follow me, and also join my Discord if why not, you know? That's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I gave you enough information for you to have an idea. Also, another AOC meeting should be coming up soon enough. Let me know down in the comments below what would you like to see. Not when it comes to balance changes. I mean, you can always give those. But since I already know some of the stuff that is going on and whatnot, I might read it and not actually answer it. It doesn't mean that I'm ignoring you. It just means that maybe your idea is not something that is, you know, that both us as the OC and devs are looking into right now, or just something that's already been considered. If you have any sort of ideas, you know, something new, something that you would feel like that would bring new players into the game, or just keep the old players in the game. And if you're gonna suggest bug fixes, trust me, we talk about that every single day. We wish that the developers or the team or they could do much more, but they're limited. All right, they're doing as best as they can for as with the amount of time they have and the amount of manpower they have, the hands on the job. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. That will be it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, have a wonderful time. Bye bye.